If you love smash burgers, you're about to lose your mind. Today, we're turning them into protein-packed tacos that you can meal prep. And on screen right now is everything we're going to need for today's recipe, plus the additions of salt, pepper, and oil. So we'll start with our sauce. I've got 150 grams or 5.3 ounces of high protein yogurt. If you don't want to use high protein, you can use regular Greek yogurt. Add in 2 tablespoons or 40 grams of mayonnaise, 1 tablespoon or 20 grams of tomato ketchup, 2 teaspoons or 20 grams of American mustard, also known as yellow mustard, 1 teaspoon or 5 milliliters of pickle juice, just the juice that regular pickles come in, 1 teaspoon or 4 grams of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon or 4 grams of smoked paprika, add in a pinch of salt, a little bit of cracked black pepper, about 10 cracks worth, and then go through and mix all of this together, making sure everything is nicely combined. What you'll have is a really nice smoky sauce. It's nice and light. It goes perfectly with what we're making today. And you can use this for so many different things as well. You don't have to use it as a yogurt base. You can do straight mayonnaise or vice versa. If you have a squeezy bottle, I highly recommend putting the sauce into it. It's going to make things so much easier when it comes to serving. If not, you can spoon it over at the end. That's not a problem at all. Once bottled up, place on the lid. Just make sure everything's nice and tight, if I can get the lid on properly. Then we can whack this in the fridge until we're ready to serve. Now onto our toppings, we're going to need 1 brown or yellow onion. You can also use red or white. Just take off the tip and then slice it in half and peel it. We want to dice this up nice and small, so just go through and make those thin slices across, stopping at the root. Do the horizontal slice if you like to do that. I just find it breaks up the outer formation. And then just go through and dice this into those small to medium sized pieces. When you get towards the end, lay it down flat, continue slicing and dicing into those small pieces, just trimming off any excess flesh from around that root. If you're a fan of pickles, we can use these as well. As for this recipe, it doesn't really matter how many you use. I'm going to be using 2, and I'm going to slice these into thin strips the whole way across. And this is also from that pickle juice that we made the sauce with. Once you have them sliced, we can go through and slice them into strips. Rotate those strips and then dice into small pieces. You can cut this any way you like, but for this type of recipe, I find the small pieces work really well. So we'll go through and just repeat that with the remaining pickle, and you should have something that looks like this. Lastly, for the toppings, we've got a baby cos or romaine, depending on where you are in the world, and I'm just going through and thinly shredding this up. You can cut it however you like, it doesn't really matter, but I like to place these into those nice thin ribbons. That way we can place it straight over the top of our tacos. Also, because it's a layered vegetable, just make sure you give it a good rinse because there can be some trapped dirt. Now onto our beef, I've got 900 grams or 1.9 pounds of lean beef mince here. This is actually 10% fat, but you can use as little as 5% fat. Add in 2 teaspoons or 8 grams each of onion and garlic powder, 1 teaspoon or 4 grams of smoked paprika, a nice big pinch of salt, and a nice big pinch of cracked black pepper, 20 cracks worth. Use clean hands and then just go through and mix this all up, making sure all of the spices are thoroughly mixed through the meat. And we only need to give this a light mix. We don't want to overwork it. Once you have that thoroughly mixed, we'll go through and weigh these out. And we're going to get 10 portions out of this. For the purpose of this video, I am only going to show 5. And for the balls, you're looking at about 90 to 95 grams per ball. We'll just roll these in our hands. They don't have to be perfect because we are going to be smashing them out. So like I said, we are only doing 5 for the purpose of this video, but the recipe makes 10 and we're ready for the next step. Now what I have here is 5 small tortillas. You can use flour or you can use corn. We're going to take one of our balls, push it down, and then all we need to do is spread it out onto the surface of that tortilla. It is okay to leave a little bit of a lip, doesn't matter too much, but try and flatten these down as much as possible. And you can use a burger press if you have one to push these down and compress it. One of the best things about these is they don't need to be perfect. You don't need to go around and make sure everything is perfectly edged. So with that done, what you're left with is these beautiful tortillas that are now ready to be cooked. Now before we get cooking, I wanted to show you something that's helping me track my progress and taking out any of the guesswork, and that is the Hume Health Body Pod. Every morning when I wake up, I weigh myself. Some days I can be heavier, some days I can be lighter, and that could be due to increased muscle mass, water levels, or even just training fatigue. But the Hume Health Body Pod tells me exactly what I need to know and what is happening. It breaks everything down, body fat, muscle mass, water levels, and that's how I know I'm on the right track. There has been days where the scale goes up, as well as days where the scale goes down, and it is incredibly motivating to see. It could just be due to muscle mass increasing as well as body fat decreasing, and that's the stuff that actually matters. It's been a huge motivation, as well as me staying consistent with the high protein meals. It also helps me track my progress in the gym. It just takes out any of the guesswork. If you're interested in the Hume Health Body Pod, I've got a link for it in the description as well as in the pinned comment. Use the code CHEFJACK, you'll get 20% off, as well as their site already having a discount on sale. So if you use my code with theirs, you'll get up to 50% off. Thank you so much to Hume Health for sponsoring this video. Let's get cooking these bad boys. Now for these, place a large pan over a medium-high heat and get the pan nice and hot. Add in some spray oil. You can use regular oil, but we're cutting the calories a little bit. We're using this. Once you see it brown off a little bit, we can place these in meat side down. Push them down a little bit just to make sure everything is flat on the bottom of the pan. We're going to sear these for about 2 to 3 minutes to build up that really nice golden crust. If you have a weight, you can place it on there just to make sure it is completely smashed. Once that's done, just carefully flip them over. You should have a really nice golden color on that meat. Use a couple of cheese slices and place them over the top. You can either use light or regular cheese. We're only going to toast these until that's nice and golden and crisp on the bottom of that tortilla. Once you're happy with it, we can then remove this and that cheese will continue to melt over the top. Now with these, we'll place down our lettuce, just a nice little mound in the middle. Next, we'll come through with our brown, red, or white onion and just go straight over the top of that lettuce. Add on the pickles if you're using them. Doing the same again, just straight over the top. And then finally, with our sauce, just do a nice little drizzle over everything. This sauce really does make all of the difference, so 100% try your best to make this exactly the same as what I've done. Now, if you do want to meal prep these, just make sure you have the beef and the tortilla on its own. Don't put any of the fresh toppings or the sauce over the top until it's been reheated. You can put these in the fridge for up to 4 days and in the freezer for up to 3 months. Just make sure that they're nice and tight. As for reheating, you can do so in a microwave, in a pan, or an air fryer for a few minutes until they're nice and hot, and then assemble with the fresh ingredients. As far as everything else goes, there's only one thing left to do, and that is we can then dig in. The flavour on that is honestly unreal. Don't forget to use code CHEFJACK over at Hume Health, and thank you to Hume Health for sponsoring this video.